Hey there, it's Adrian. Today I want to talk to you about investing in yourself. All right, this is a very common topic that every one of us talk about all the time when it comes to self-development, self-improvement, progression of your career, life-changing event that has happened. Eventually came back to the fact that we should always invest in ourselves. Now, I want to clarify the need of investing in ourselves today because I felt this is like an overrated topic, and a lot of time people confuse that having to invest to ourselves means basically buying additional courses, basically finding a mentor, go out there and get whatever that we thought we need. Now, don't get me wrong, this video has nothing to do with stopping you proceeding to invest into another program, another business opportunity, into yourself, into things that you feel is important. I just want to invite you and step back before going out there and search outside for investing in yourself. I want to walk you through this process that I like to use for myself to help me getting clarity of how do I best invest in myself and get the best out of it. All right. So investing, are you the kind of person, statistically have shown 99% of the people actually doesn't know what is their goal a year from now, 5 years from now, and then maybe 10 years from now. Now, if you are the kind who actually knew it, I want to congratulate you for having a clarity of goal in mind, because you belong to likelihood the 1% of the population in the world where you have a very clear mission of what you want to set out to do and how to go about doing that. So if you are not belonging to the 1%, let me say this to you too. You are totally normal. Okay? So now the question is, how do you get yourself to know your goal before investing? So I have a 4-step approach here that I want to share with you. Now, step 1 of this is about establishing your own priorities in terms of your role and in terms of really who you are. Okay, there is an exercise that I use. Basically, first I list down the role that I am. Who am I ask myself, right? In the process of asking myself who am I just simply randomly write down my roles and who am I. All right, I can be an entrepreneur, I can be a mother, I can be a wife, I can be a sibling, I can be a general society contributor, etc., etc. So who am I? So I wrote that down, and then I prioritized this role. At this point of time, which one of these roles are important to me? So I asked myself a very simple technique, a simple question. If I can't have it all, is being a mother more important than being a wife? All right? And I asked myself again, if I then have a list of this role, then I go through the role one by one. If I can't have it all, is being a wife more important than being a daughter to my family members? So with that list, I have a priority, right? So with that I want to also make sure you understand that there's no right or wrong in the priority. It's just that at this point of time, what is important to you? So with that clarified, I then understood what are my priority when it comes to my work, what are my priority when it comes to my family, and what are my priority when it comes to being me. So once I have that role defined and the priorities of the role being clear, then I move into the next exercise where I spend some time to write down what I believe are my strengths, what I believe are my skills, and also what I believe I need to improve. So I give you an example from here. When it comes to being a better wife, my skill is clearly being able to support my husband when it comes to welcoming guests, when it comes to entertaining crowd, etc., his friends, his family members. On the other hand, when it comes to being a better wife, I need to listen to him more often and not interrupting him all the time, as an example. All right, so clearly my listening skill without interrupting my husband is something that's very important. So if you go and do this exercise, likelihood is there's a big list in both ends. Now, how do you handle that, right? So what I do is I take on my top 3 roles And I spent some time focusing on understanding my own strength, all right, at the same time my own development need. So I put them side by side to each other so that I have an objective view on each of the role that I have. What are my strengths and what are my development needs? And once you have completed that with the three, for me, when I completed that with the three role, very likely I will be able to identify certain part of the role where I can already clearly identify as common development need and others as my common strength. So I group them together and identify then what are the real common development need that I have, which likelihood will cater for 80% of the overall list that I need to build my skill. All right. From there, very likely I already have some idea how do I make sure that I can develop them. So what I went on doing after identifying the list of development needs is to break down to actionable items that helps me to have an operating procedure for the next 21 days. If, for example, my focus is about listening without interrupting to my husband, so what am I going to practice in helping me to achieve that particular habit? Listening without interrupting. So how? I'm going to have a list of things that I will do and a list of things that I will not do. And from there, I keep focusing on reviewing it with a review process that I call active questions. So I will ask myself every day, did I do my best to listen without interrupting? On the scale of 1 to 10, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest, how would I rate myself, right? So I will then go through my own question and evaluation of myself, and then maybe ask myself the question, if I were to do what I will keep doing today versus what I will change, so that I understand what is the roadblock of me becoming effective in listening without interrupting. So another example I will give you is go back to listening without interrupting. All right. A lot of time we listen and have the intention to interrupt because we feel our opinion needs to be heard. So I will then shift my mindset thinking to myself, before speaking out my opinion, listen to the end from the other side and let my husband speak his own mind and tell myself to count to 1 to 10 before I speak. So that will help me to sort of orientate myself and not overreacting and not being excited about just saying what I believe, rather listen to him. So these are what we call the 21 days of plan, where it helps me to build up this new habit. Okay, now once I have that, like I say, it's very important to make sure you have a regular review process, active question. Instead of asking myself, was it hurt? Was he being hurt? Was I interrupting? I will ask myself, did I do my best to listen without interrupting? And I will ask myself, did I do my best to understand what was said rather than what I was talking about? So basically shift the idea of having active questioning approach rather than being passive. Then last but not least, the last point of this is about having accountability partner. Now, I believe this is one of the most important process when it comes to investing in ourselves. A lot of time, we tend to say we know already what we need to change. But before we go out there and buy another course and buy another program and get another mentor, first identify someone that you trust who will not judge you, who will support you through your journey, help you to make sure that whatever you're going to do, he or she is going to hold you accountable in your action. All right? Give he or her the right to correct you and to remind you of what you have chosen to change, right? So that it helps you to be accountable and it helps you to be reminded that, you know, what is the purpose of you wanting to change or invest in yourself into. So this is very important point. And find someone who is close to you, but maybe not so close to you in the sense where it doesn't have to be your husband. It can be a friend. It can be a colleague. It can be a family member that you don't see every day, so that you can also have your own reflection and have a connection time where you talk on a regular basis, but you don't have to see each other every day. All right, so that he or she can support you rather than judging you. So find an accountability partner and apply this. Now, by now, you will realize actually investing in yourself is not necessarily just about having a product, having a course, having a mentor. It's really about you spending enough time getting clarity of who you are, who you want to be, what do you see yourself needing to improve on, and getting that done by simply creating the mindset, creating the time, creating the space in your environment to help you to be able to actually becoming effective. So with that, you likely still want to improve yourself after 21 days here, and perhaps you want to be even more effective in certain skills. Fine, that's when you invest into a program. That's when you invest into certain coaching experience. That's when you invest into the external resources that help you to be more professional or more effective. But before that, so let me invite you again, go through this process. Think through who you are, what are your strengths and what are your needs of development? How can you do it so that you already develop certain skills, and then have a partner that supports you through the journey. By the end of this process, trust me, you will see an improvement, so that when you go out there and actually invest into a mentorship or a program or a business opportunity, you are set out to be a much more effective person and much more impactful in the result. All right? So I hope this is helpful, and stay tuned for tomorrow and more to come. I'm going to share more about how do we become an effective entrepreneur and becoming effective individual. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.